I worked as a registered nurse for 23 years, and I met my husband, Joe, on a blind date. So we were set up by a friend of his, and I have 4 children. My oldest daughter is living in Wales, and she works there. And presently here, I have 3 at university, and they're all with us at home right now, being students, poor students. I found out that I had cancer in the fall, around October of 2020. I was a little concerned in the summer of 2020 because I was having symptoms of problems with my breast, and I was unable to get my annual mammogram, which I had done for years. Every June was my month. And as these symptoms progressed, I just became more concerned. So finally in the fall, things were beginning to open up for tests and things, and I was able to get a mammogram. December 17th, it was a week before Christmas, I had a lumpectomy, and I ended up staying in the hospital because unexpectedly, when they checked the lymph nodes, they could see the cancer. So once we had that biopsy back then, it was a stage 3 breast cancer. You know, you grow up pretty fast in the healthcare system during a pandemic. You end up going to a lot of appointments alone. The hardest part was just my husband had to just drop me off at the door and say, see you later. And then I started chemo and radiation. So that was a long process. There was many interruptions for that. I had many complications and setbacks that, it was halted and started. And I had several hospitalizations for complications. Some were common that you would get with chemotherapy, but not everybody would get them, so I did. So it was a long year. I know for myself that certain days when I was going through my treatment, there's so many terrible side effects, a lot of pain involved, a lot of physical pain. So you're very vulnerable. If you thought for 1 minute that you could have relief or weren't going to be a burden, it's not a good place to be. By definition, I would qualify for MAID. It bothers me a lot. It makes me feel unsettled that it would be so easy for me to start that process, and it's a real thing. If I felt hopeless, if I was alone, if I didn't have the help, if I didn't have the money, a drug plan to pay for my medications, where would I turn to? And I do believe that offering people MAID is not the solution to end their life and get rid of them as though they're so disposable. Everybody needs to feel the dignity of the human being that they are, and how valuable that they are, and they make a difference in society, and they're important. So feeling not valued as a person is just the nature of the beast because of an overstressed healthcare system. And the staff they do the best they can. We have many programs to help people with a multitude of things, but they don't seem to be accessible for everybody. For palliative care, it's a wonderful field of medicine, and it's advancing all the time. Just as every specialty in medicine advances, palliative care does as well. The medications and the treatment they can do to manage people's pain is exceptional. There are many happy stories and I heard one recently of someone who had considered MAID, and they changed their mind, and ultimately they're passed on now, but they have palliative care. And it was a huge relief for the family because they brought in the resources needed to help this person become fully informed about what they could offer to alleviate pain and have a dignified death. So the government has really got to put in place means, money, groups, everything is needed to help people with their individual needs. But if you don't have the government funding, then you can't do what needs to be done.